Story 1, she cries when I'm not looking. My WDNCs and I were supposed to go out on a fancy dinner date 2 nights ago after I got home from work. Normally, I get home around 6, so the plan was for her to get ready for a date and I would come and pick her up. We would have a nice night out. I was able to wrap up my work an hour early, so I went and bought some flowers as a little surprise because she expressed in CC that she loves when I get her gifts. But when I got home, I saw her crying in our bedroom while wearing lingerie. She tried to brush it off and say that it was nothing. I told her we were not going to dinner unless she would tell me what's wrong. She then went on to explain that she was crying because when she was making herself look sexy for me that night, it triggered her. During her EA, her app would always say that I never found her sexy, and he would constantly want her to send him sexy pictures. But she would constantly turn him down, even though he was really pushy about it. While she was looking at herself in the mirror, she felt gross and couldn't really feel sexy anymore. She then told me that this happens quite a lot, her crying by herself due to her triggers. She didn't want to burden me with her own emotions, and she doesn't feel like she can express these emotions because she caused this to herself. I explained to her that I want her to be emotional with me, and that I want her to be able to be open with her emotions. I don't want her to worry about burdening me because we are trying to build a relationship where we are always honest with one another and are willing to be there for each other no matter what. We chose not to go out instead, stay home and make a home-cooked dinner. Afterwards, we had some very emotional sex. I am currently taking a break from work and wanted to ask how often Deweys on this sub get triggered by their own affair. Do they just tell their bees or try to deal with it by themselves? I would also appreciate if some YUS could help me show her that she can be more vulnerable with me and that I want her to express how she is feeling to me. With your comment, you seem like such an incredibly kind, caring, and empathetic person. Thank you for sharing your story. It feels weird to admit, but I have definitely been triggered by my past choices and cheating. I'll be trying to heal, move forward, and get hit with sudden waves of shame and remorse as if I was back in the moment. I try not to share these thoughts as much with my current partner because it reopens his wounds. I also have felt shame and hurt triggered just because I know I am the root of the issue. So, it's something I work on every day. I wish you and your partner the best of luck. And a comment. I don't know how your wife is, however, she needs something. It would be easier to understand if you try to make a concise statement. Let her know if your negative feelings are from remorse or from problems with us that we need to fix. I will always want you to share them, and I will never be angry about them. I always want to know how you feel and to help both of us heal together in those cases. I think this is a big step forward. It's when you support each other through pain, it shows serious reconciliation. You're both going through different kinds of pain. You obviously feel betrayed and hurt, while she hates herself for who she became. She will need to start forgiving herself at some point, but that will take time. Story 2. My long-term girlfriend broke up with me. I recently broke up with my long-term girlfriend. We had been together for years and I love her. However, she lost interest in me and wanted to explore her sexuality. I understand, but it's still hard for me. I wanted to marry her, and she said she wanted to marry me, but I don't know if she still means it. She was cold and unfeeling during the breakup, while I was desperate and annoying. For some context, I moved away to university just a few hours from her last year, so we entered a long-distance relationship. I promised that it would be okay and that I would see her as often as I could. I tried, but the transition made me bitter and I was upset a lot of the time. She broke up with me 5 months ago because the distance was too difficult for her. We were both going through a tough time, and I realized how much I took her for granted since I moved away. She took me back, and I tried to be a present and good boyfriend from then on. I really tried, but I had issues that I wasn't aware of that were slowly pushing her away from me. I wasn't very adventurous, and I don't know why. I wasn't interested in doing the things she loved to do, like going to rivers and parks, riding horses, and other activities. I regret it now, but at the time, I was just tired and comfortable. I didn't realize that every time I forced us to stay inside, I was killing her love for me a little more. I wasn't attentive, and I would sleep in when I visited her. She's an early bird, and I love to sleep, so she would often be upset because I only woke up for classes or other responsibilities. She thought I didn't value her. I also never planned anything special for us. To me, a good date was just going out to eat and watching a movie together, but she wanted to try new things together. Looking back, I don't know why I didn't make more of an effort. I didn't get out of my comfort zone. I wish I did. I wanted to, but I guess I went back to my adventurous side. She said we wanted different things in life. I wanted to stay in the suburbs near the city, but she wanted to go somewhere in the mountains or surrounded by nature. It was my childhood dream to have a ranch outside the city and grow my own things. I still want that, but I was worried about jobs and living too far from the city. I did this matching thing at my school to get my mind off of her. The results came back, and it just made me think of my ex. That's really why I'm writing this. I can't stop thinking about her and what I did wrong. If I could, I would do everything differently. I'm dropping a class so that I have more time to explore. I went to the gym today, and I want to make it a habit. I'm gonna try and eat healthy, but I don't know. I guess the best thing I can do is grow as an individual. I still love her with all of my heart, and a big part of me wants her to come back, but I know she won't. She made it very clear, though I know my panicking after the breakup didn't make her desire to come back. Maybe one day we'll rekindle, and hopefully by then I'll be a more well-rounded person. I want to stay friends with her, but we're doing no contact for a little under a month. When it ends, I'm going to try hard not to smother her or anything. I plan to keep the conversation light. Dear, I broke up with my long-term girlfriend. This post is mostly self-reflection. I still love her, but she's made it clear that we're done for good. I need advice on how to get through the no-contact phase and not push her completely out of my life. I feel like I left out a lot. If you have any appropriate questions, I might answer them. Also, I'd appreciate comments that don't mention our age or how there are plenty of other fish in the sea. I know that. I'm deeply hurting, and I still have so much love for this person. I'd appreciate advice on how I can feel better, grow as a person, and maintain my friendship with my ex. As reader comment, I had a similar experience when I was your age. Traveling long distance and experiencing freedom in college can change things quickly. This was my first real relationship, and it's no fun to love and miss someone who doesn't feel the same. I know it sucks, and I'll tell you what I wish I knew. Looking back, I wish I'd accepted things sooner and tried my best to move on. Try to learn as much as you can from the relationship and move forward in your own life. Don't rush into dating again. Take some time for yourself to get over her. I would also suggest finding a hobby to keep you occupied, especially in the beginning when it's still raw. Now, here's the part you probably don't want to hear. Maintaining a friendship with your ex is going to be very, very difficult for you. You were together for 4 years, and a month of no contact is not going to be enough time for you to get over her. Not even close. I know you want to stay connected with her, but this pain you feel is like an open wound. Talking to her, seeing her, and hearing about her life, unless you're very well adjusted, will only irritate that wound and prevent it from healing. In the worst case, you will pine after her for years and keep yourself from moving forward. At the very least, I would recommend significantly more no-contact time, at least 6 months. I would even consider going your separate ways. It would likely be better for both of your emotional health in the long run. Anyway, I'm sorry that you're hurting, and I hope things get easier soon. Wishing you the best. Story 310 weeks after D-Day hate community. This is my first post here, but I've been here for a couple of months. I appreciate what you guys are doing here, and it is very inspirational for those who are struggling with pain. I felt the need to share my story. I've been living with my fiancé for 3 years already. I was suffering from peer and addiction and pied, and our sex life was pretty bad. We spoke a couple of times about it, and I really felt sorry for not being able to provide her with a good sex life. She was trying her best, but I was disappointed all the time for losing my erection and started to avoid sex. Besides that, we were a perfect couple. We loved and cared about each other. I thought I found my soulmate, and we were planning a wedding this year. 10 weeks ago, she admitted that she was chatting with a colleague they met, and they kissed after some drinks. I was in shock. I hadn't cried, yelled, or said a word. I was just sitting in shock with my hands on my head. I really hate cheating, and one of the main reasons why I started dating her was that I was 100% sure she would never do something like that. I spent the next day at my friend's place drinking like a fish, but decided to come back and set rules to forgive her. It was just a kiss after a couple of drinks. It could happen to anyone, and she admitted her mistake. The day after I got sober, I came back home to speak with her and to get all the details. She was ready to listen to me answer everything I asked. But when I asked to see her work CI, she was frightened and told me that the things I'll see there will make me leave her. Eventually, she gave me access, and then another worse shock came. She was having an emotional affair with that guy for a couple of months. There were some voids, and they hadn't spoken in months, but still, it was enough disgusting material that I wanted to puke. Actually, ever OCT dons. After that kiss, which she said she didn't enjoy and regretted instantly, she told him that she was so happy they met that day and were chatting for the next 3 days until her guilt kicked in. The guilt kicked in. I was so devastated. I yelled and cried for the first time in 10 years. How can such a beautiful creature write such disgusting things to a married man while I sit in another room? That night, I had my first panic attack. My mind couldn't process what was going on. I was a caring boyfriend. How did I deserve this? How did she allow this to happen? I haven't slept or eaten well for a whole week. She was genuinely remorseful and sorry, but it didn't make me feel better. The only reason why I haven't moved out is because she came and told me what happened. Yes, she tried to minimize it at first, but she eventually admitted everything. Her story is that he liked her, and she liked him, and she was happy to receive compliments and feel desirable. When he started sending her messages that were more than just flirty, she admitted to him that she felt some passion towards him, but she also told him that she loves me and doesn't want anyone else besides me. However, she eventually started responding to him in the same passionate and excited manner, as if they were real lovers. It was just a fun game for her from time to time because she didn't want anything besides that attention. But her real downfall started when he stopped sending her texts and she felt used. So she called him to meet and end all of that. And as soon as he started giving her attention, she was happy. She relaxed, had 2 glasses of wine, and at one point that guy kissed her and she accepted it. She then told him that things like that should never happen again and went home. But the next day, the guy texted her again and they started another passionate conversation for 3 days until she got bored and started feeling guilty. The kiss was too much for her, but it also gave her the soul attention that she so desperately needed. She had been going to therapy for a year while all of this was happening, and she had spoken with her therapist about her feelings towards another man. She wanted to tell me twice that she was feeling attracted to him, but her therapist advised against it, saying it was childish and selfish to say something like that to a partner. And after that kiss happened, she realized that she had crossed the line and told me. I spent a month thinking about what to do. Should I forgive her? Could I live with that feeling for the rest of my life? But I decided to give it a try. During this period, she did everything she needed to do. She blocked him everywhere. She stopped going to the office. She answered all my questions multiple times, and we started counseling. But I still feel like trash. She is giving me all her love and attention, but I still have intrusive thoughts and triggers that lead to anxiety attacks. I keep asking her and myself questions, and I think about what happened every day for hours. I do love her, but I'm still disappointed. And sometimes, when things seem normal, I get triggered with thoughts that it's not normal, that there was someone else besides me. I'm seeing a therapist once a week and struggling with obsessive thoughts. Struggling with obsessive thoughts every day? Sometimes it just feels like I'm going in circles, and that is driving me crazy. I wish I could forget everything. I truly wish to forgive her and move on to where we were before all of that, but it is so hard. I have had some pretty bad traumas in the past, far worse than this, but this one hurts me more than anything. I don't know how long this pain will last and what I should do to make it go away. My therapist told me that I shouldn't ask so many questions anymore and should focus on the future, while our therapist thinks that we should discuss what happened. It is a confusing, painful, and long journey, but I know she is a good person and still worth it. She is really trying her best to prove that. Does anyone have a similar story? Can you please share how you dealt with the pain and when it went away?